Welcome back to a brand new Clash Royale video, guys. My name is Patrick, aka Chief Pat, and today we're going to be hopping into a brand new deck on my main Chief Pat account focused around the Baby Dragon, which did get buffed in one of the most recent balancing changes. Now, the buff that Supercell gave it made it so its attack speed is just a little bit quicker. I think it's somewhere around 10 to 15% quicker, and that means it's obviously going to do more damage, and I'm going to go ahead and throw it inside of this deck. Now, the main attack points of this deck are going to be the Miner, the Poison, and the Goblin Barrel, but the Baby Dragon is going to serve as a pretty valuable defensive card, and if I can get it onto the tower, obviously I'm going to take that damage, but really I'm just going to try to play this chip deck right here, use the Baby Dragon on defense, and then I'll work my way from there. Now already it looks like he did a pretty interesting push with the minions. It looks like he had the Musketeer as well as he had the Valkyrie, and overall he spent 11 elixir on that push, and I only had to spend 3 elixir on the guards and 4 elixir on the Baby Dragon. So with that 4 elixir positive trade, that elixir collector is almost completely free, and we started the game off on a pretty good foot. Now, taking a look at our deck right now, obviously, like I told you guys, the Miner and the Goblin Barrel is our main push tactic. I do have the Poison as well to help out, depending on the cards that he uses. However, it looks like Irrational Man is going to be playing the Zap spell, so obviously our Goblin Barrel isn't going to be as effective if we throw it right on top with the Miner. So I'm going to keep that in mind, just build up an elixir lead, and I should be able to sort of snowball the game out of control from there. Now, so far, things are looking okay. I've got a little bit of damage on the tower. Obviously, the Elixir Collector is still churning away. The Prince should get onto this tower as well, because that Ice Wizard got one shot in the face. I actually didn't know that the Prince would one-shot a level 4 Ice Wizard when it was charged up, but definitely a nice little surprise. Let's go ahead and get ready to play some defense or another push down that right-hand lane, and he's actually going to do the Miner plus the minions, and honestly, I didn't have a great counter, so I had to play my Inferno Tower. Obviously, pretty expensive at 5 elixir, but the Inferno Tower did drag my Baby Dragon over, so the Baby Dragon went ahead and helped out. Meanwhile, Goblin Barrel plus the Baby Dragon on the right-hand lane, obviously he's going to zap it down again, but now the tower on the left-hand side is in poison range, so I can poison that tower down as well as the King Tower and take the very first crown of the game. Now, meanwhile, Mini P.E.K.K.A got destroyed. He's going to throw a good luck out there. I think at this point he realizes he might not be able to crack my defense. Getting ready for double elixir, which is about to pop right now. Let's go and play that elixir collector to make sure that we have a strong finish throughout the rest of the game. The Prince is going to whap the Musketeer right in the face, and because that was such a good elixir trade right there, I'm just going to go ahead and poison down the Crown Tower as well as the King Tower, and of course the Sparky is going to go down as well. So at this point, things are looking pretty good. I don't actually have a great counter to Sparky inside of this deck, except for the guards, so that's what I'm going to go ahead and use to take those out. Look at how I place the guards. I make sure to use it in a triangle so I can go ahead and make sure that the Sparky doesn't hit all 3 at once. It actually doesn't matter too much with the guards because the guards already have a shield on top of them, so you don't have to be as tricky as you would have to be with like Barbarians or the Skeleton. Nothing is a worse feeling inside of the game than missing your Barbarians onto Sparky. It's just so frustrating. But meanwhile, big push going down the right-hand lane. I let him push down the left because I knew I could just push for the win down the right. Second tower of the game is going to go ahead and go down, and with only a couple of seconds left, tower's going to be locked onto by most of my troops. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, a single second. We're going to pick up that 3rd crown right there, and that will be the end of the game. So 3 crowns to 0 and 36 trophies. I just started pushing again after the season reset. Let's go ahead and keep this win streak alive, get into the next battle using this Baby Dragon, but you can see how valuable it was inside of that battle. He actually didn't have many things that shot air. He had the Musketeer, obviously, but I kept assassinating that with my Prince or my guards, and because of that, the only other thing he had inside of his deck was the Ice Wizard to shoot down my Baby Dragon, because the minions just kept getting killed by my Baby Dragon over and over again. So the Baby Dragon played pretty well into that one right there, and taking a look at this next battle, this guy's going to be playing the Spawner deck, which honestly the Baby Dragon is really good against. I know previously when I used to play the Baby Dragon on my Chief Pat 2 account for the deck that I used to win, I think my first 56 battles inside of Clash Royale from when I started the game, the Baby Dragon was such an essential card because it works so well against a lot of the spawner decks. I saw it earlier arenas. It'll kill the Barbarians before they get to your tower. It'll obviously mess up the Spear Goblins, and because of that, I ended up being able to stop his little push right there. First tower of the game is already down, and the Baby Dragon's going to still do some more work and clean up the Goblin hut and even move over to the Barbarian hut before getting a hit off against the King Tower. So already the Baby Dragon paying off massive dividends, and he actually has 3 Musketeers, and he thinks that said, I'm a little bit low on elixir, so he's going to play those right near my side of the map. Honestly, it's a little bit awkward to counter Three Musketeers with this deck, but using the guards plus the Baby Dragon, which did splash damage, ended up working out pretty well. So all in all, the Baby Dragon is definitely the MVP of this battle so far. And let's go ahead and get ready on defense, where again, a Baby Dragon would have been a perfect counter to Barbarians. If you drop the Baby Dragon onto the Barbarians, it would have taken those out. Obviously, the minions are another set of troops that are really weak to the Baby Dragon. This deck that I'm playing right now from this guy is just meant to be countered by the Baby Dragon, and that's what I'm going to do. All right, so meanwhile, I'm going to let him push with that miner right there. I don't really care too much about a level 3 miner's damage. I'm just going to go ahead and counter this right-hand side. Playing pretty aggressive. Normally, I could just defend this left-hand side and pick up an easy win, but usually I try to get a second crown to be able to finish off the game. Elixir Pump has almost cashed out, so I'm getting ready that second one to drop in the bottom left-hand corner. And let's go ahead and go to double Elixir and see if we can knock down that right-hand tower. So Baby Dragon to start. I actually wish I held on to that to be able to help out against the Three Musketeers. Unfortunately, one of the Musketeers is going to lock onto my tower, and it's going to drop all the way down to 4 HP, but you can see the Baby Dragon doing work on the Barbarians right now, as well as the minions. So meanwhile, while I defend on the left with that single Baby Dragon, on the right, I'm going to use the Goblins, the Miner, as well as the Poison Spell. The tower is going to go all the way down to 0 in an instant because the Miner ended up tanking for my Goblins. And now with only 27 seconds left, it looks like this guy has accepted his fate of the Baby Dragons beating down on his tower. And that's going to be a 3 crown to 0 victory. I know he had Fireball inside of his deck, so I thought he would Fireball down that left-hand tower to try to get a star or a crown towards his crown chest. But in the end, he just gave up that 4 HP tower, 25 trophies for that battle. And let's go ahead and hop into one last one against Boo. I don't even know how to pronounce this guy's name. All right. Now, awkward starting hand means I have to go on offense. So I've got the Goblin Barrel as well as the Miner doing work on that right-hand side. Looks like the tower is going to go all the way down to the 2300s, which is pretty effective. And taking a look at these minions, it's really just a decision I have to make. Now, rather than waste 3 elixir on my guards, which is the card I would use to counter the minions, I'm just going to go ahead and take a couple hundred damage. You guys have to think when you play Clash Royale that your tower's health is a resource. It's a resource inside of the game, just like elixir, that you can trade in for an advantage. So right there, I traded in a couple hundred HP on my right-hand tower, about 600, and I traded that for basically 3 elixir, which is the cost of the guards that I would have played instead. I just thought that would be a better move. That way I could get a bigger advantage by playing my elixir collector. And now that he spent so much elixir trying to counter that collector, as well as he played an Inferno Tower on my Baby Dragon, which obviously isn't the best thing that he wants to play, I'm going to go ahead and go for a little bit of a push. I'm going to force him to play that boulder right there, which is going to drop down to about 75% HP. The tower is at halfway right now, and I can go ahead and get ready to counter this counter push down the right-hand lane. We got to counter the counter push down the right-hand lane. I'm going to play the Prince onto the bowler. Ice Spirit's going to be pretty nifty to be able to help out. I'm not going to worry about that Miner. Again, guys, I do not care about a Miner's damage onto the tower by itself, at least in the very beginning. I would have to spend 3 elixir on the guards to counter it, and like I said, elixir is, or your tower's HP is a resource, and now since I didn't use the guards on the Miner, I can just use the guards onto the boulder. I did end up missing just a little bit, so 2 of them did get hit by that one boulder right there, but still not too bad. We were able to counter that without taking any damage to our tower. Elixir Collector in the very center because I'm adapting to the fact that he's using the Miner, and by placing my collector in the center, that makes it so both of my towers can shoot the Miner at once. And at this point, I just got to keep grinding down that right-hand tower. He's going to play an Inferno Tower, so he's obviously extremely scared, and my Miner's going to go away from that Inferno Tower. The Goblin Barrel is going to go down. He's going to zap that down again. He does have the Zap spell, which has been pretty effective for him so far, but still, he spent a lot of elixir just on that defense right there with the Inferno Tower doing nothing. And now we can just go ahead and clean up with the Baby Dragon. I've got the Prince to help out against the Miner. I've got the guards to go in front of the Prince. That way they can get the they can lock on to the Inferno Tower if the Inferno Tower did have a little bit more HP. And at this point, the Miner poison spell is absolutely working the tower. The Prince is assassinating that bowler, and the tower's all the way down to a couple hundred HP. In fact, my Prince is going to get one last slap in the face, and that will be it for the right-hand tower with 18 seconds left in the battle. Now at this point, I've realized the game's pretty much over. I'm just going to go for the Prince Miner push. He's playing the Inferno Tower. He's not going to give up that second crown. In fact, he's defending rather than counter pushing down the right-hand lane. So with 5 seconds left, that's going to go ahead and do it. A Miner's going to lock onto my tower. Honestly, I don't even care. I'm going to let him do what he does and put a poison spell onto my own King Tower. And that's going to be GG well played for a 1 crown to 0 victory using this deck. So guys, that is going to do it for the Baby Dragon. I think it's definitely a much more, it's a much better card, and it can be played inside of multiple decks now that they gave it a little bit bit of an attack speed boost. I wouldn't say it's top tier, but it's definitely a strong card. And meanwhile, we did get a crown chest, so let's go ahead and open that bad boy up and see if we got anything good. So we're going to get some gold. We're going to get a couple of common cards, or I guess we're going to get 2 gems. Okay, 30 commons for the cannon, 38 ice spirits, 7 3 musketeers, hoping for a legendary, but ended up getting a balloon instead. So 4,217 trophies, won every single battle today on our way to making our way back up towards the leaderboards for the season push. And of course, I know a lot of people were tweeting me yesterday about some sort of win trading on Clash Royale. I'm not doing any more pushing into like the top 10 or whatever, which I used to do. I don't know, I guess new subscribers might not know, but I used to push towards the top of the leaderboard all the time. I think I was like number 4 in one of the seasons, and people were still cheating, and I made my way up to number 4 at the end of the season, and I've been number 1 in the world multiple times, but it just isn't worth the stress nowadays of just having people cheat and taking that spot away. So hopefully sometime we'll see some sort of address or Supercell address win trading, but who knows when that'll happen. I'll probably do a video on that sometime soon, but that is going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace out.